Update. I'm leaving my boyfriend over milk. Original post. I live with my boyfriend and we've had conflicts now for over 5 months because of milk. Approximately 6 months ago, I found out I'm lactose intolerant, and it made me change all my diet to avoid stomachache and nausea, which is working pretty well. I do not expect my boyfriend to change his diet as well to accommodate me, so we've been buying our own groceries to not impact one another. In my country, plant-based milk and lactose-free products are much expensive, but since I love my cheese and milk, I buy it anyway. The problem is that my partner eats it all when I'm not home and doesn't replace it by buying more. I don't mind sharing food, but it's really disrespectful of him to not leave some for me. He knows lactose is something my stomach can't handle, but he still eats and drinks my products when I'm not around. It made us fight a lot of time, and it's been ongoing for 5 months until now. This morning, seeing less than 100 ml of my almond milk made me go absolutely crazy, due to the fact I was more than 10 hours awake from my shift in the hospital and just wanted some latte. He keeps saying it's not a big deal, but the fact that he chooses to consume my stuff and refuses to admit his mistakes makes it unbearable. How my boyfriend treats me is absolutely outrageous, and it made me see that he doesn't treat me as an equal due to how much disrespect I've been enduring, and I can't take it anymore. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Okay, so my view on this is, the milk is not the problem. You have clearly stated that you really don't like it that you buy your own stuff, and it's gone all the time, and he apparently doesn't care. You ask something small of him and he just shows that he absolutely does not care about your opinion at all. Does he not respect you? Does he just not give a damn about your needs and your feelings? Does he just do this a big middle finger towards you to show you that he is in charge in this relationship and does not need to please you? I say ask him these questions. It is not about the milk. It is about a complete lack of respect towards you. If he doesn't show that he cares about your desires and small things, then why would you even trust him to care about your desires on big things in the future? You are not breaking up with your boyfriend over milk, but you can definitely break up with him over a lack of respect. He'd better start showing that to you. As I like to say, the Iranian yogurt is not a problem here. It's not the milk that's the issue. It's the fact that your boyfriend cares so little for you and your health, and has blatant lack of respect for you. He has his own milk, but is drinking yours instead, knowing that you can only drink that kind due to health conditions. It's such a little thing, but he goes out of his way to do it, and that's the real issue here. Good on you for sticking up for yourself and knowing that you deserve better. And if it wasn't such a big deal, he could have replaced the milk. Before you leave, the petty in me would eat all of one of his preferred groceries, or toss it out when he's not home and say you ate it. If he complains, you can tell him, "Oh, I thought this type of thing wasn't a big deal." Now for the updates. I bought a plane ticket to return to my parents' home. My soon-to-be ex-boyfriend thinks we are okay, since I've been quiet after he yelled at me saying I was overreacting. I've sent a message to my boss, and she said it is fine for me to work online. I was thinking about writing a letter to my boyfriend since this was my first relationship. Dear boyfriend, I am leaving a 5-year relationship in which was full of red flags I couldn't see due to my rose-tinted glasses. My favorite nickname that you gave me was Doll, but now it makes me want to puke. The naive old me thought it was because he loved my dark hair and my love for pink. But now looking back, maybe it was because how dumb I looked just to please you, by obeying every single word like a spell. I know deep in my heart you will blame me for the breakup, or maybe the milk. None of these were the issue. You are the problem. Every time you disrespected me by consuming my almond milk was like someone slowly plucking petals, because every single act of disregard made my love for you die. Honestly, this fate couldn't be prevented. We know where we are in each other's hearts. The only mistake was making you the priority when I clearly wasn't. Thank you for being my first, but unfortunately, you won't be my last. Goodbye. Update 2. Yesterday was a bit chaotic, so I didn't have the chance to log onto this account. While my ex was at college, me and my 4 friends packed everything I bought over the years. The only thing I left behind was our engagement ring, photos, and the house keys. I left the heavy and big stuff at my friend's house, and she will be shipping it to my parents' home. God bless her. I arrived during the night at my home city and my phone wasn't even on, so several hours was peaceful for me. No more screaming, no more disrespect, and no more stolen milk. Today when I finally turned on my phone, there was more than 74 calls from him. The messages were between begging me to come home and talk it out, to threatening to expose my nudes, telling everyone about my ADHD, find me and make me regret. I am quite afraid of it, so I showed my parents these texts, and now we're planning to spend several days at our beach home in another state until it is safe and get a police report. I don't know what will happen after I file a report, since in our country, the police is a failure. Now for the last update. Hi, it's me again, and today I'm going to give you all some bad news. In my last update, I told you about traveling to my beach house in another state, and it saved my life. Here is awesome. I missed being sun-kissed and having so much fun at the beach. As I mentioned before, traveling to my family's beach house was what kept me alive since my ex-boyfriend wanted to fulfill his promises of bringing me home at whatever cost. Before leaving, I told the building administration that my ex is not allowed to enter the condominium since he's a threat. This morning, my parents received a call from the doorman saying they called the police because my ex-boyfriend showed up and tried to find me. He was able to enter since I forgot to delete his Face ID, but fortunately, this monster was stopped at a reception. At first, he tried to talk to the staff saying it was all a misunderstanding and we're back together, but they asked for proof, and this idiot couldn't provide it. He then became very violent and tried to attack the staff, so they called the police. When they started searching him and his bag, it was found a pair of knives, gloves, and plastic bags. So now he's in the preventive detention. I am still shaken up at a possibility of me being unalived by him, so this will be my final update since we will be suing him. The fact that it was all caused by Milk is really shocking, because it made me see that the man I almost married is a monster. Thank you all for the support and advice. I don't know why my comments aren't showing up, but I want to say I'm really grateful for everything. Edit, for the sake of my privacy, there won't be any information about the condo, the CCTV footage, nothing. This is confidential information now. OMG, this is insane. I'm so glad that you got out and it is safe, that the staff was able to stop him. I never expected him to get violent because he's always been a decent guy. I think God was on our side, since he is 6 foot and is full of muscles, and normally it would have been difficult to tackle him. Your ex is insane. He would have offed you. This is not about Milk, but about controlling you. You are not allowed anything for yourself in his eyes. He has to always have control over the relationship. This man is extremely dangerous, so please be careful and watch your back. Carry an alarm, pepper spray, and a weapon with you. This scared me the most, that the moment he lost control over her, his only thought was to end her. This guy is straight up a psychopath. I'm not exaggerating. I'm really glad she broke up with him and fled to safety. I can't even imagine what would have happened if they got married and possibly had a child together. Now OP realizes that leaving him saved her life, literally. I hope she'll manage to be safe, away from him. I'm going to stay at the other state for some time. I'm not prepared to return home. I understand you can't update about the lawsuit, but can you update once in a while to tell us you're safe? I know I don't know you, but you got me worried and stuff. I will try to make some updates. I think this will be my personal journey feeling. Next story. I regret getting married every single moment. I haven't even married 6 months, but I, 25 female, am leaving my husband, 30 male. Disclaimer, we have discussed monogamy in detail before we got married. We both agreed we were monogamous and wanted to be in a close relationship. Then 1 month after our wedding, he asked if we could open up our marriage. This came out of nowhere, and I have been shocked and angry. I told him I was not comfortable with that, and he told me to just give it time. He has completely dismissed my apprehension and refuses to acknowledge my concerns. He tells me that he has not made moves on anyone, but he has swiped on dating apps with me in bed with him. He also flirts with coworkers of ours, ones who were at our wedding. Yesterday I had someone ask if I had been the one to open the marriage, and I've never felt so betrayed and disrespected by my husband. He has told everyone we are in an open marriage. My stepmother is letting me stay with her for a few weeks, and I'm collecting my things this evening. I can't continue this anymore. I'm in the bathroom at work crying my eyes out. Now for the top advice. Sorry you're going through that. That's super crappy of him to pull that after you got married. Glad you're getting out. Honestly, it's good that you found out now rather than years down the line. I'm glad you're kicking his butt to the curb and not caving. Right. Thank God it came out before you potentially started a family with him. I can't help but think, what an idiot. You go through dating, you go through the proposal, engagement, etc., the wedding planning. Then this? 1 month? You're still in the honeymoon phase. When my wife and I discussed swinging and stuff, as we were talking about a good friend who was experimenting with it who are now divorcing, the whole conversation was, her, I can't think of you being with another woman. I just couldn't do it. Me, okay, I don't really want you sleeping with another guy. Her, okay. Literally haven't discussed it in years. Every time I read something on this site about group activities / poly / open relationships, it reinforces monogamy for me. I know some people can do it successfully, but they seem to be very much the minority. Good on you for standing your ground. He probably figured she'd be trapped by the marriage and agree under pressure. That's why it happened so quickly. Sounds like Opie's calling his bluff, and I hope she sticks with it. He definitely thought he had locked her down before showing his true self. Opie, I'm guessing it's safe to say you don't intend on sleeping with them again, but be on the lookout for sabotaged birth control. As soon as he gets wind that you are intending to leave, he's going to look for the next step he can take to trap you. 1 month? 1 month in and he asked to open up the marriage? The freaking audacity. I am so sorry. Well, 32 days exactly. But yes. I think based on this, you qualify for an annulment. But that would likely prevent you from being able to leave with anything if that's what you are seeking. Might seem litigious, but also may help you sleep better at night, knowing you're able to undo the marriage altogether, just like he did. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say he's been sleeping with other people. He did betray you. Go get yourself someone that wants you and only you. Your husband sounds like a loser. We came back from our mini honeymoon, and he immediately was gone the entire night we got back. I asked where he was, and he told me he passed out drinking at a friend's, and a friend covered for him. I didn't have any reason to not believe him, but now I'm so disappointed and disgusted. I'm making an appointment at a clinic to get tested. Last story. My boyfriend cheated on me with his roommate's ex. Original post. Dude couldn't even man up and tell me that he didn't want to be together anymore. He had me thinking that he was dead somewhere because he wouldn't reply back to me for 2 days. His roommate had to call me and let me know that, yeah, he's fine. He's cheating on you with my ex. So not only is he screwing me over, but he's also screwing over his roommate, his supposed best friend. What a freaking crappy person. I can't believe I was fooled. I almost told this person I loved him. I'm so mad at myself. I'm so disgusted. So I went to my ex's house on Wednesday to grab some things I left there, and did some unhinged and petty things on his room as his roommates egged me on. His roommate felt so bad for me. Heck, I felt so bad for him. He still has to live with a guy who betrayed him. I offered to buy him lunch, and he accepted and offered me a toke. We went to a Thai place and I ate one piece of my food as my appetite has been completely lost, and pondered on if what I did, trashing my ex's room, was justified. I asked the roommate and he was shocked, responding with, "Don't you think he deserved it?" Indeed he did, but I'm such a nice person. I felt like I had gone a little psycho about it. I took him back to the apartment and told him how I was sad I wouldn't see their cat anymore. He told me I could come over whenever I wanted to, even just to mess with my ex. I asked if he had any St. Patrick's Day plans, and he said, yeah, come out with me. So I accepted. We texted for a few days. I let him know I was making shepherd's pie for my parents, and he commented on how he hadn't had it in a while. I offered to bring him some, since I had intended on making some for them on Friday if everything hadn't blown up anyway. So, I made a pies on Friday afternoon and headed out to meet him at a bar that evening. Arrived at a bar, he introduced me to everyone all night as my roommate's ex-girlfriend that he cheated on with my ex. So, although I got sympathy, I felt uneasy on how these random people and his co-workers, as we went to his job to get free drinks, would view me. He'd been drinking all day, while I had just started, so I was looking out for him a little. We went to smoke in his car, then went to a house party after. Now, at this party, he was putting his arm around me and hugging me. It felt nice. We left the party and went back to his car. We spoke for a moment before he asked to kiss me. I said, sure, and we made out for a bit. He walked me to my car and he asked if I wanted to go back to the apartment with him. With the possibility of seeing my ex? Not now. I headed home instead. It wasn't my intention to get with a roommate. I know it won't lead to anything serious because he's too young for me, and I just can't set my head/heart straight for anything physical right now. Also, I'm late in my cycle, about 4 days late. I'm hoping it's just from the stress. Not gonna lie, based on how he introduced you to everyone, it sounds like he's just trying to get under his roommate's skin by messing around with you now. I might be wrong though. I figured, and I'm sort of okay with it. He has a reputation, but at least he's straight up about it. I just let him know that I wanted comfort, affection, and friendship rather than a hookup, and he's okay with that since he can find it anywhere. I would be careful with that. Lots of times, men will say whatever they think you want to hear while they wait for their chance to get physical. Especially a man who's hurt and possibly looking for revenge. If you eventually find that you're okay with getting physical, then it works out. But until then, just keep an eye out. Worst case scenario, he knows you're vulnerable right now and will offer comfort/affection/friendship as a foot in the door to eventually sleep with you. You really need to separate yourself from this drama BS. No games, no revenge. Cut your ex off, cut his roommates off, and move on with your life. Take the cat first. They deserve better. He deserves so much better, but it's okay. I love on him when I see him. I grew up in a drug house. My sister and her boyfriend were on stuffs. My mom and her boyfriend were on something, and my sister's boyfriend's friend and his girlfriend were on them too. Well, my sister's boyfriend and his friend's girlfriend got caught hooking up and left. So my sister ended up getting with a friend. 20 years of marriage and 3 kids later, they are still happily married. I'm not sure why I mentioned the D's, but everybody's clean now and has been for many years. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise.